Alright, welcome to another video. We're back to music production. I'm gonna try something a little bit different. I really like making mixes. I think they're just fun because I feel like they're the closest I can get to like pure like my vision of things I can get across really, really well if I just mix a couple of songs and dialogues and sound effects together, as opposed to even like writing and stuff. I feel like the vibes are there more in mixes than anything else. And so if I want to learn music production, I feel like actually probably making these mixes are the best ways to get started, and even just making them, because I used to make them in Audacity and I learned a lot about Audacity making them there, but of course now I have FL Studio. I was like, well, there's actually a lot more features in FL Studio. I could probably learn a lot more, like extracting stems and stuff, which before I was using like an AI program, and basically I could only do 30 seconds at a time, or else they would charge me for it. So I would just like do like, if I wanted like 3 minutes, I would do 30 seconds each, record it on Audacity, and then do it here. But I want to go back into mixes. Now mixes are somewhat dangerous, as you guys can probably guess. Which is that, of course, it's the copyright system on YouTube can get very angry at you, which is why I'm like, I don't think I'm gonna post the mixes. I'm gonna talk about the mixes, making the process of making the mixes on here because that's still appropriate for this channel. But I'm not gonna post the mixes in full on this channel anymore. Before I started this new system of making videos, I used to post them on here. I'll probably take those down at some point, and what I'm going to do is I'm going to re-upload them to JBR, the JBR channel, which is for more me. I don't know if you would call that faceless, but it'd be me not talking, just like the final product. So, for example, we have a couple of trailers on there right now, and I feel like that's the best places for the mixes too. Now that's connected to my business's email, so I don't know if that account gets copyright striked and taken down. I don't know if there's legal repercussions for my business, but I figure, fuck it. I think this is fair use enough. I think in the court of law, I win 9 to 8 times out of 10. So, and I'm trying to use stuff that's not as copyright. I have 2 mixes that are already on the docket, plus the ones that, of course, were on this channel. Will probably still be on this channel when this video like first comes out, because I'm probably gonna upload these ones first. This first one, though, that I made, I went a little too wackadoodle with it because I really wanted to make it very unique to cut out the chances of it being copyright stricken, and two, just to learn a lot more about how FL Studio works. And I feel like in the process, I made something that's a lot shoddier. It has its moments. And obviously, like I said, I'm not going to play it for you in full in this video. You'll have to watch the final version of it. But this is me. I'm going to do one final wave of testing here to see if I can fix it up. There's some things that I know I can't fix, not at my skill level of FL Studio, but it's things that we'll learn over time. And then I have another one on deck that's a little bit, I might need to make some changes to it in terms of copyright, because I don't know if that's gonna fly by very well. But we'll see what happens. Like I said, a lot of manual vocal chopping, because I wanted to try and do a thing of like, oh, could I get vocals to work with tracks that don't usually have these vocals in them, which it turns out is very hard if you don't have a care in the world for things like BPM and the correct key. So I don't know how well this is gonna sound, but of course you're not gonna hear the whole thing, so it doesn't really matter. I love this Kanye beat. This is the vocal ad-libs at the beginning are from Freestyle Shit by Freddie Gibbs and Madlib, which actually comes back later. This, for the most part, is just Like Her, Love Her, something like that, by the Teriyaki Boys featuring Kanye West, produced by Kanye West. This sample is so good, and I love it. I'll probably reuse it for something else if I can get away with it. It seems pretty copyright light. Doesn't seem like Universal Japan really cares about this song as much as some of the other Teriyaki Boys songs. Yeah, it's a little rough on the ad-libs. The section of Freddie Gibbs saying, "I'm gonna drink some of this champagne," is a little rough because the amount of space in between where the first verse starts and Like Her, whatever the song's called, because I don't have the title of it right here. It needs to be expanded a little bit more. The only problem is that I realize it needs to be expanded more once I already made all of this, and I don't want to fuck with anything. Because as far as I know, there is no, like, I can't just, like, create padding here, then automatically push everything back. I need to grab everything and then manually push it, which I'm afraid would just fuck everything up. And you can hear it good enough. So like I said, I'm pretty proud of this one because this is actually two different parts of the same verse, but spliced together.
Yeah.
And it's a little, you can kind of hear the cut if you really try and pay attention for it. There's also the fact that the stem extraction isn't that good, so you can kind of, it's not as bad in this one because it kind of just sounds like humming. But in our second mix, it is kind of bad.
Some champagne.
It's not that bad.
The Surgeon General
Where was that cut? Because it was a hard stop.
has determined.
It sounds like it was from this. That's probably on both of them. If you do a tiny bit of fade, it usually fixes hard syllables like that.
The Surgeon General has determined that the sounds you're about to hear.
That's weird, because that sounds like it's part of the original.
The Surgeon General has determined that the sounds you're about to hear will always be devastating.
Maybe I shouldn't worry about it too much. And this song is just so good, but I'm not going to play it for you because that's not relevant to this video. It goes through the first verse. I only do first verse for mixes because that seems to be the safe points where Google and YouTube do not yell at me if I just have like the first like 1 minute or so of a song. It won't yell at me because that's under TikTok rules. The shorts, you can do whatever music you want with the shorts, and so they don't get too mad at me. But the second part is where things start to get a little bit complicated if you look at the system. And I'm still not sure if I want to keep this, but we'll play it. And we bring back freestyle shit. You hear the fade on the vocals. So that is a different song. It's called I'll Be. I don't remember the name of the artist. It's a very famous Japanese singer, but I don't have it up. I just grabbed it random from Spotify because I was like, you know what? This beat would sound good with just straight singing. And so I did this, and I was like, this song, first of all, like I said, not the same BPM, not the same key. I had to rig it to fit. And because of that, you run into a lot of issues. You run into hard syllables, like I was talking about before, where something should be like, if you wanted it to be in the instrumental, but in the context of the original song, it was, and then it stops, which makes it sound weird. So that's a good example. But it's actually best bueno, and then cuts because that's the context in the original song. Also, I try not to look at the I don't know what this is called. I don't even know that much about music production yet to know whatever this is, but I try not to look at it. I try to get myself into the mind of a person who's just sitting there at YouTube listening to music and trying to see if would this be disturbing to me if I was actually listening to it, or would I just not notice it? Now, if the voice dips low enough, then your brain kind of processes it as it's stretched out. So for example, that part is a hard syllable, but because the voice dips below the instrumental, it sounds like it keeps going. So it cuts there, but it sounds like, whoa. So it's a lot about giving the listener the illusion that these two things fit together. Also, just the cuts that you make. It's important that the voice is below the instrumental so that you don't hear the cuts as much. Could work. I would say to add reverb, but the voice already has reverb. It's pre-reverbed. It's pre-verbed. I feel like I can hear the fade in because I just made it, but I wonder if anyone would actually hear it. Oh, and here now we go into our second part, which if you thought that was complicated, I went way too deep on trying to get these two songs to fit. They do not fit at all. But like there was just enough sections that cooked that I tried pulling it with the entire song. This one I don't think is fixable, but it's also good enough to stay in the mix because like I said, some parts cook. But we're gonna stop it there. I am 15 minutes over on my raw recording. So I'm gonna end it there. These mixes, like I said, to protect ourselves from copyright, they're not gonna be on this channel. They're gonna be on a different channel. I'm gonna cut it there, and I will see you in the next one.